Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess.
Yes, indeed.
And we got a special guest in the building.
The legendary
Comedian Bill Burr. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on?
How you feeling?
What's up, Bill?
I'm all right.
You know, you made me think about something just now. There is a risk in giving compliments.
Oh yeah, I came in and I was saying, I go, hey, yeah, you lost some weight. You look good.
They say, yeah,
you look good. And then he said, what were you saying? I was fat before? It was like, I guess I kind of was. I wasn't.
And I was like, well, what if he's sick, Bill?
Yeah.
And you say that's the risk you take.
That's the risk you take. That's the risk you take. But you know, they got AIDS under control.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right?
They do.
Yes.
They do. It's not like a big deal anymore.
Remember when everybody used to be so scared of AIDS?
It was terrifying.
Right after the Magic Johnson press conference.
Just want to clear this. I don't have AIDS. That was a crazy
I looked at you like you're not going to say nothing.
Well,
Crazy
that's what it was.
transition.
Our generation, if somebody got skinny.
That's what it
That's
was.
right.
Before us, it was heroin.
Or crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
And
are
then
crack.
after that, yeah.
My age
This
is
is a nice way to start this interview, by the way.
Good morning.
Yeah. Drug addiction, AIDS.
Yeah. By the way, Bill, you're 56. You are not in your drop dead years, man.
Yeah, don't say that.
Cut it out.
Well, yeah.
Nah.
No,
Oh.
people. Yeah, I've had friends drop dead in these in these years. So, I hope I'm not. I try. I mean, I'm an old dad, so that was sort of the thought that I started, thinking like, I how long do I have to live so my kids will, I raised them, and I was starting to do the math, and it was kind of scaring me. So, I've been, I don't know, you get to be 56, gonna be 57, you start
That's
thinking
young.
of those things. No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
57 times 2 is 114. That's not young.
How old
People
are
are like, oh, you're middle age. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm 56. I'll be 57. So, yeah, that's old.
No, how old are your kids?
Oh, my kids. My daughter is 8, and my son's going to be 5.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
started late. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
yes.
But the average age of the most people die men at least around 74, 75. That's the average age in America.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, so those
That's up
are
there.
actually the drop dead years.
You at least make it to college.
No, that's not dropping dead. That's dying of natural causes or whatever you were doing. Dropping dead is you're out on a golf course, just, limbering up doing this and then just face plant into the tees.
But you got to take care of yourself. You go to the doctor, you do your cardiovascular tests. That's
I'm not dying.
I
You're just doing like a health intervention here. It is a stand-up special. You're taking it very seriously
Okay,
here
okay.
with the thing. It's just sort of making fun of the fact that,
You old.
I'm not young anymore. I got to watch myself and whatnot. So,
You run around the park with your kids still?
yes, I do all of that type
He's
of
not
stuff.
that old. Why you saying
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
Because
like
he making himself seem so aged. I'm like, well, what young stuff do you do that makes you feel like I can't do this no more?
Damn.
It's just being 56 is that a crazy thing to think that 56 is kind of old?
I think so. Because you don't, I mean, the way that, I think because you say 56 and then you talk about all of the kind of like the up the hill battle stuff. Like it's just, you wake up every day and you look fine. Like
She's 33, bro.
that's how you make it
she's
seem.
very
You
young.
make it feel like you feel old. Like, so I'm like, dang,
We're
like,
ancient to
what's
her.
happening with your kids?
All right, listen, I'll call Hulu. I will rename the special. I'll see what I can do.
The
Try to make-
pregame to Drop Dead Years.
Yes, okay.
It's the pregame.
All right.
Well, the special is out today.
Yes.
It is out today on Hulu. Drop Dead Years for everybody out there. Make sure you go stream it. Make sure you go watch it. Absolutely.
Can you tell us what? Well, I guess you just told us what inspired the name, but how does it reflect the material you're covering in the special?
Well, I always have like a mix of like I talk about current events, crazy thoughts, and then sort of analyzing my mistakes or whatever. So I'm not because my earlier specials I was just doing this, so I like to try to point the finger at myself a little bit more, but. I don't know. God, I did the thing back in June, and my act is all different now. But it was just stuff that was. I mean, Biden was still president when I did it, so there wasn't like all of this stuff that's going on now that is, intense.
What are his years? If you're the drop dead years, what is when you're Biden's age? What is his years called?
I mean, that guy should have been in a home. I mean, I don't understand like how that guy was our best option.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I try to stay out of politics, but no matter what you do now, everybody just sort of drags you into it. So, and then like in my world, the white world, they try to throw they throw the word woke on you, which I always just say you can't use that word. That word has nothing to do with us. You can't be woke as a white person.
Yeah.
You're just not. And that's one of the embarrassing things about my people is not only do we steal your slang, we don't have the decency to find out the definition before we start using it. And then it like changes. Like I heard somebody the other day was talking about like how when they get drunk, their accent comes out. And they were like, yeah, it's like code switching. I was just like, that's not what that is.
Yes. You know, when it comes to comedy, though, are you trying to provide an escape for people, or do you feel like you have to use comedy to make sense of the world that we live in?
Definitely an escape.
Okay.
I'm big on that. Like my job is when you come, I'm going to make you laugh. Forget about whatever you're going through or add to a good week if you had it. But I don't put any sort of level of importance. People try to do that. Like there's this stupid thing out there that the comedians, they're like the truth tellers of today. It's like, no, you journalists aren't doing your fucking jobs anymore. You guys you guys work for one or two channels and, you know, you just sort of toe the company line. So then they're putting it on comedians. It's like, you know, that's not our job. Our job's to make you laugh and forget about your work week or whatever. So I don't put any sort of importance on anything that I'm doing, but other people try to, I guess.
I wonder whose fault that is, though. Like, was there a particular comedian? Because, you know, George Carlin always kept people, to me, grounded in reality. And then what Jon Stewart did, and still does, you know, on The Daily Show, he keeps people grounded in reality, but then he reports the news. So sometimes they want you to make the facts funny, because the news isn't doing it. Like, the news
I stopped watching the news at least 10 years ago.
Damn.
I just couldn't do it. There was just no hope. You just walk around. I always say you can tell people that watch 24-hour news. They show up and their eyebrows are up. Did you see what happened? I mean, I just did Good Morning America. Just the weather alone, the way they were showing all of this severe weather, and nobody is addressing global warming and how the hell and what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And I think I really think the LA fires, all that corporations see, like, oh wow, we got great ratings watching all these people lose their houses. So let's so then I was like watching the weather on Good Morning America being like, is it really this bad? Or are they trying to make it seem this bad so they can get some more of those LA fire ratings or whatever? So
you gotta sensationalize in news. That's like your goal when you know how to sensationalize.
Yeah, they're just trying to make money. So I don't know. It's a weird time.
And how do you stay away from politics when I feel like politics is just funny nowadays?
It's pop culture now.
Everything is just
everywhere.
Everything you say has to do with political. Not everything, but a lot of stuff you say has to do with political stuff. Like you were trending all morning this morning. Did you know that on Twitter?
Yeah, but I guarantee you, whatever they were saying, I was saying I wasn't. What was it about?
It was the Elon Musk Nazi thing, and how the media is scared and won't say what they need to say.
Well, it's ridiculous. There was a time. Post Me Too and all that, speaking to power, all of that shit that was happening.
Truth to power.
You know? Remember when something was supposed to happen for you guys and it didn't?
Yeah.
Because it was all of us just talking? I mean, that's what ended up happening.
No, that's true.
That's what ended up
happening. A lot of white
happening.
people making a lot of promises that never happened.
Oh, was it during the Black Squares time or something?
I don't remember. I just remember there was a time that you would be on stage going like, can I do this Caitlyn Jenner joke? Or am I gonna get canceled? Like it was really this crazy time.
Nah, she was the one transgender you could always make jokes about, and nobody would get mad.
I don't know. I kind of did one on Conan, and then those guys at Huffington Post tried to get something going. So there was that period, and then like a few years later, this guy sieg heiled twice.
Two of them.
Once in the front, if you missed it in the back, and it's just like he still has a job. That guy still has a job. I don't understand those guys, and this isn't politically. It's just like I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like you're billionaires. I think it's working for you. Like you know, why are you going and telling everybody, you know, justify what you do? It's like fucking justify what you do. That piece of shit car that you're making that the government financed. No?
But you know what you just said? You said that Elon still has a job. He's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved. There's nothing anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that. What do you take from him? He's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Kanye. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but I don't know. Listen, I don't know how this shit works. I'm just saying that, you know, if you said the wrong thing as a comedian, all of a sudden you lost your TV show.
But you're not the richest man in the world. If you was the richest comedian in the world, ever.
What I don't get,
Imagine Bill Burr
what
with
I
Elon
don't
Musk
get
money.
is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler, and then this guy comes in, and does that while being an immigrant too, which is kind of the whole thing. Just none of it like tracks how you can be the support the troops. America, love it or leave it. And then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler.
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, I don't know. But then somehow that gets like politicized. I'm not trashing Republicans. All Republicans did not Sieg Heil. That guy did. And I was just amazed that all liberals had was one day of outrage. And they're like, all right, I guess that didn't work. And then we just kind of move on.
Because they realize they can't do anything to him. Like, what do you do other than send out some angry tweets?
Well, the stock went down a little bit, but then Trump tried to, buy some Teslas on, live on television to show people that it's cool about the company. So
the people online said Bill Burr is absolutely cooking. He don't realize he's gonna lead a revolution and then make jokes and complain about it. So they want you to tell them what to do.
Yeah, that's one comment.
There's multiple.
that's what.
If you go down this, they was giving it up for you this morning.
If you are in this business, the last thing you want to do is read comments on the internet.
I tell her that every fucking day.
Whenever a person is trending, I have to go see why. Like, it's just in my world of things.
She lives in the comments.
Oh.
This is not the comments. This is like you were trending across the U.S. on Twitter, so I clicked to see why because I knew you were coming today, and then I saw the comment that you made, which I saw the day before, but people just started
common sense comment that we shouldn't have a Nazi.
And people just started yelling about it today, so that's why you were trending.
Just think about that. All you said
I like
was
when people go, he wasn't Sieg Heiling.
What was it?
He was calling a legal motion. Two politicians were moving at the same time.
You said you feel like billionaires are like rabid dogs who deserve to be put down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. Why do you feel that way?
It's a podcast. I'm joking. I'm exaggerating.
You can't do that.
You just say anything, Bill?
Bill.
Yes, you can, and I did it. And it's fine. You know what I hate? I hate when somebody shows them a clip from a movie or a sketch and be like, oh, you couldn't do that today. It's like, you just did it.
That's true.
And we all watched it and everything was fine. So like
So you don't really feel like billionaires are rabid dogs who should be put down?
I think that they should be regulated.
Yeah.
Capitalism is great, but unregulated capitalism, I don't think the direction this is going in, where now these guys, the thing is they're all competing with each other. They don't hang out with regular people. They just hang out with other billionaires. So when somebody has an infinity pool overlooking an infinity pool, then that's what they want. And, I think they just go around looking at their net worth and they're trying to be like the first trillionaire. But I don't know. I don't understand that. But this whole like heartless way that they treat workers,
I agree,
is it's got to stop. It has to stop. And I do find it funny though that it's nerds that are ruining the world, because they used to always go after like frat boys and stuff, and it's like, well, now look at it, it's all of these I don't know, they're all getting like hair plugs and they get like face, I don't understand. What the CEO, they take jujitsu and they eat raw almonds.
They got the girlfriends now too. They outside. Elon Musk. Everybody.
Oh my God! Come on.
The people, they're outside now. People are following them more. They're making them celebrities. That's what's happening.
Yes.
Like, that's what it is. That's what I mean by they're outside. People are just
all right.
gravitating.
I wouldn't say they got the pick of the litter when it comes to women though.
I don't think the pick of the litter. I think people care about them more.
The thing is they're nerds, so they don't have any game. So they have to have $1 billion, just to get some stripper to walk up their driveway.
Jesus.
It's kind of
What do you
always
mean, Jesus? This is the Breakfast Club.
It's kind of always been like that though.
I love it.
It's kind of been like that for guys. Guys always feel like we needed some money. I never felt like that.
No,
I
but because you know who the real goats are when it comes to talking to women was those guys that were getting money, not getting money, were getting women before they had money.
That's right.
They were the guys in high school and college or whatever who were just crushing it. Like, that was the real deal, because they were getting that with like their vibe, their gift of gab, and all of that. But like, once you have like money, if you have a good looking. After you have money, if you then get a good-looking woman, you can't. How do you trust that?
That's right.
Jeff Bezos is like a perfect example of that. Like, people weren't caring too much about him besides what he was doing right or wrong at Amazon. And then he got muscles. He started looking like a little something, got with Lauren Sanchez. Now everybody care about his relationship and where they go and what they do.
No, they don't. They care about Jeff Bezos being
The
Jeff Bezos
media,
with all that money.
if you Google Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, the top media outlets are covering their
They
engagement.
care about this girl. They be following this girl.
The fact that she wore
They care
at the
'cause he's one of the
inauguration.
richest people in the world.
But I'm saying
What part of the internet is that on? Just out of curiosity, because I am nowhere near that. I watch like lions killing hyenas, people wiping out on motorcycles. I had no idea that somebody's watching a CEO's. Yeah, all right,
Mm-hmm.
Is that on Twitter?
You can Google it too.
But people feel like that about multimillionaires too, though, Bill. And you are a multimillionaire.
I hit the lottery. Yeah, I worked in a warehouse. I did shit like that, and then I tried. Like I went after something, and it paid up. Like there's no way to win that conversation where it's just like, oh, you got money now, so shut the fuck up. But then if you act like you have money, it's like, oh, don't forget where you came from. So like, I don't know. I'm nobody's the same person that they were. I like to think I learned some shit along the way, but like, people who work for me get paid. Yeah. I don't want them to go to bed terrified, wake up terrified, go to work terrified, like that one psycho said that he wants his workers to do. Like, I want people to be comfortable. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you want your employees to, like, when I was growing up, the working class, it was like 1 week's pay should be your rent or your mortgage. And now I know people that work a whole month and have to get like a second job, and that's just not good. You need to be home with your kids. If you have a second job, you can't do that. You can't raise them right. Causes more problems. I don't know.
So you like compassionate capitalism?
Yeah. I have no problem with people running stuff. I have no problem with people making a ton of money. But like, when your workers are wearing adult diapers because they don't have time to go to the bathroom.
Damn.
As they're driving your truck across the country. Like, yeah, that's where I was going, all right, maybe you're taking too much of the pie. Mm-hmm. That's all. So I don't know. People are going to cut this shit up and they're going to fucking throw it. You're going to read it and they're going to say some more stuff. I feel it feels like common sense.
But you're not afraid to talk, though. That's what I like about you, Bill. You go on these podcasts, you speak your mind. You get on stage, you speak your mind. And you don't care about what, happens after the fact.
Well, I'm not being malicious.
That's right.
Like, no, if I said something and I was in a bad mood and it was really like I meant it in a bad way, which I've done that, then I will apologize. Mm-hmm. But, what am I saying here right now? You should pay your workers enough money that they can feel that they can feed and clothe their family.
Mm-hmm. That's common sense.
I don't think that's too controversial. He's a woke capitalist. Anti-woke capitalist, whatever the hell they called that Luigi kid.
Oh, yeah, I saw when you were doing the sneaker thing. You talked about that, too. That was super viral.
She lives online, if you haven't realized.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like...
You know something? I hate to tell you how few people it takes to comment on one thing to make it go viral.
No, but what you were saying, I think people took it and, like, because people were having a conversation at the time of like, is it right or wrong to say free Luigi? So they just threw that into the conversation. But I think a lot of
that's
stuff
what people like doing.
Yeah, I think.
Should we? Blah blah blah. They never commit.
But that's what I was going to say.
And then people go, no, we should not. Like they just get all these mouth breathers to start commenting.
But that's the problem with the news. Like these pundits will be on like CNN, MSNBC. They'll ask answers. They'll be like, did Elon Musk throw up a Hail Hitler?
Yeah. But those are not. That's not news. That's not. They used to have rules. They said when I remember they had rules of 7. No one guy could own any combination of 7 radio stations, newspapers, magazines in one market because you could control public opinion. So now you got 2 guys that basically own all the news. So I don't know why you would watch it. I mean, I if I was running shit, I would shut down CNN, Fox News, and you would no longer be able to comment on stuff on the internet. And then I would just leave it at that. And let bring it down to a simmer. And then maybe be like, all right, talk to people. How do you want to live? What works for you? And try to I don't know.
So how would we get on
shit
news?
Needs to calm down. And you don't need people stirring stuff up because, one of the great things about this job is I go to all 50 states for the most part, red and blue, and people are cool. But you watch these leaders and they're like, oh, my God, this is happening. That's happening. Mm-hmm. They just got everybody all scared. So I don't know.
How do you get news?
Oh, you don't need. Everybody's walking around talking about it. So, how do I get news?
What if they're lying about
Yeah, I was
it?
say because you just trust what people say. But that's the thing too, because some
Well,
outlets
that's what
I read,
you're doing when you're watching CNN and Fox. You're trusting what these unbelievably biased
That's
to
true.
one side or
are
the other.
biased.
Yeah, it's not. You watch those channels, you know who they voted for. When I was
Yeah.
growing up, you didn't. It was just like an anchor man, and
I don't know how y'all did that though back then, because I don't believe that.
Yo, what's up with
I
you,
know how y'all
man?
did that back then. Black and white television. I don't know how y'all did
You
that.
had black and white TV.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that no person can be completely unbiased. Like I think that is not true. I think
I believe
everybody
that.
has a bias, so you're always going to get biased news, even when it feels neutral.
Yeah. Okay. But I would say that these are really extreme. They don't even try to hide it. Like,
Yeah.
I remember the first time Trump got elected, half of CNN was crying.
Oh, you talking about being?
And I was
Half.
and I was just like, you guys are not journalists. Like, there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in journalism. What are you doing?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like somebody, shut down their Sweet 16 party. It was weird.
Did random question? Did Billy Corgan get the DNA test to see if you and him are really half brothers? I saw him.
I don't want, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get. That was just a, I love Howie, but we're still trying to work that out.
Yeah.
That he did that. So
Oh, so that was real. That wasn't a bit with that y'all had going on.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm just gonna leave that stuff alone. There's a
Okay.
lot of people out there that aren't in this business that might be affected. So I just leave
shit.
that alone.
Okay. All right. Wow.
I need to ask. You said you've been married 11 years,
And
and you said you finally got it right. What were
Yeah.
you getting wrong for so long?
He didn't know happy wife was happy life.
Yeah, which sounds cute. It's a threat.
What do you mean?
Happy wife, happy life. What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean? What,
Oh,
how's it
you
a
never
threat?
been with a female?
I've been married 20
Yeah, and you're smart enough to say, what do you mean? So I say it. And so you don't walk home. Don't try that slick shit.
Oh, you ain't see the alley-oop? I said it.
What do you mean by that? I live on a different planet. No, I kind of, no, silence. Silence is the key. When they get all, going on about something, you don't have to take the bait. You just sit there. If you don't engage, like arguing with a woman is an away game, is what I've learned. And you're just going to lose. But if you just stay quiet, not hostile quiet, neutral quiet,
Yep.
it dies of its own weight. And then if you just never get upset, then they so look at her. You see the look on her face. They come around. They
No,
come around and then, but then this is the thing too. You can't ask them to apologize either.
Damn.
You can't. You have to let it, see? You have to make it them feel like it was their decision.
You know what I say? And this might sound a little off. I say sometimes winning is losing.
Yeah, well, you can I wouldn't go that negative. That's a little hopeless. No, listen, you have your guy friends to say what you really feel in that moment. When that shit that you used to say to your wife, but like you just don't do it anymore. You just sit there and go like, you just let him go,
I feel a little unhealthy. I feel
Huh?
like you should be able to talk to your wife about any and everything. Like,
Yeah, but I mean that's how you're wired.
Yeah.
You got like that stubborn thing. You're not gonna take any. I've done that. That doesn't work with a woman.
Because
Charlamagne,
sometimes
you're very easy. I mean, y'all might have a way that y'all communicate when you do really need to get something off your chest, but you're really easy going with your wife. She leads a lot.
Yeah,
But she also makes. I feel like women, we know the same thing. Like we know how to make y'all feel like it's your decision. When it's like if you really make the decision, who knows where we'll end up?
Yeah, you guys think you're slick with it. We know that. We know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
we know that
what
trick.
y'all doing.
Yeah, all right.
She's single, by the way.
I mean, one time I used to tell this story. One time, I was driving in the car with my wife, and it was like late at night. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop by. There was this diner. I was going to get a chocolate shake, or whatever, a sugar craving. I'm going to get a chocolate shake. She goes, oh my God, that would be amazing. And she goes, they make the best shakes. She goes, oh, but they're so big. Why do they make them so much? She started talking about how big they were, and I started thinking like, yeah, how am I going to finish this thing, And then I thought like, oh, she wants half my shake. She doesn't want her own shake, and she wants to have some of mine, but she doesn't want me to be upset that she's, drinking my shake or whatever. So she, rather than just saying, you want to just split one, she tried to like mind fuck me into thinking I couldn't finish a shake as an adult.
Did you finish the shake?
No, I called her out on it.
And what did
You
she
know
say?
what?
I do want one.
She got this smile on her face and started looking out the window. And there's a few times when they like, sort of expose themselves, you know, and then you start going like, you start feeling like the Manchurian Candidate, going like, oh my God, like she's running. Like I remember one time we had gotten into an argument and somehow I stayed calm and she kept escalating and then she ended up losing it.
Oh, that
and
pisses
at
me
the
off.
and at the
Why
end of
would
the
you stay
argument,
calm?
she goes, are you happy? You won. You made me mad. And then she walked out and I was like, I go, what did you just say? And she was like, nothing. I go, what did you just say? You just said, are you happy? You made me mad. You won. Do you think making somebody mad is winning? Because I feel like that's what you do to me. And she was at that point like arranging stuff on like her desk and stuff. And
But it's not a competition. Like, it's not a competition. You weren't purposely trying to make her mad.
I think he was.
no, I wasn't. I accidentally did what she was doing to me. Like because it was all of those times when I was like, I'd be in an argument, I would be right. And then all of a sudden, I would be arguing some other shit, going like, how did we get over here? And then I would say something dumb, and then I would end up having to apologize, even though I was right. And then I would go for a walk, and then sort of like, you know, after you lose a game, you're looking at the game film, and I was, she did it to me again.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, they always say win through your actions, never through argument. So I feel like that's what you mean when you say just be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, that's whatever you just said is more evolved than I am. I just try to like, like that was like when I'm on Duolingo and I kind of know most of the words, and I was like, wait, let me just hit pause and think what was just said.
Just win through your actions, never through argument. Like I don't need to argue with somebody. Just, you know, show and prove, basically.
Are you buying this?
I don't buy nothing from over there. I don't even shop over there.
Is he just like walking around in some linen robe and just walking his way through the? So you're just telling me you just sit in the pocket the whole time, and all of her jujitsu doesn't work on you.
No, but here's my thing. I'm not trying
You're
to
an
compete.
argumentative guy.
I like the debate. I like
That's what
a
he calls
healthy
it.
debate.
I like how you just clarified that.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
like-
I like the debate.
I think a healthy debate is good for all parties, for everybody, for your friends, for your wife, everything.
I'm not talking about debating. I'm talking about arguing.
Nah, I don't
Just
like to argue.
pointless.
Nah. I don't do that. I refuse with anybody. I disconnect.
I aspire to get there.
Well, you said in the special
The
that
amount of shit, if you have at the end of my life of dumb shit that I spent, sports arguments. Oh my God, that's gonna be a third of
But
my
those
life.
are different though. Sports and hip hop, those are actually fun. I think those are good for your heart, to be honest with you. Keep your blood flowing.
You don't get into a fight over it, right?
No, but I lost a whole night in Vegas one night when some younger kid I was hanging out with tried to tell me that Mayweather, if he fought in the 80s, would have gone undefeated against Hagler, Hearns, Durand. I'm missing somebody in there.
Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard,
So you
John
argue-
the Beast Mugabe,
No.
all of these
Like,
like
you arguing about something that's not
I'm
true.
like they all took a loss from each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm no disrespect to him, but it was just like because I love Mayweather and everything, but I was just saying like, you know, and then I said the old guy thing. Oh man, you should have seen the middleweight division in the 80s, blah 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 blah, and they were like going. He was like, oh man, he would have killed all of them, and then I just.
Did you name Hitman Hearns? I don't know if you named Hearns.
Yeah, I named him.
To me, that's just a pointless conversation because he didn't see it. See, that's the beauty of being older. You've seen both eras. He has not. You've actually lived through them all to give a proper analysis. He hasn't.
Well, Tommy Hearns, his thing was he was like 6 feet tall and he could make that weight. You know what I mean? So he had this ridiculous reach advantage and his power. His thing that I felt that hurt him was he was such a warrior that there was a few times he had a fight won and he still just wanted to go in and mix it up and knock it out and then knock the guy out and then he would get hurt. But oh my God, when he knocked out Durant, I thought he killed him. I mean, that was like a gunshot.
Let's watch the first round of that Hearns Hagler fight.
Oh my God,
That shit looked like Rocky.
that was like Hagler was my guy. He was Brockton, Massachusetts. And, you know, he had the shaved head. Who knew I was going to go that road? He had the shaved head and everything. And there was something about him. He was just like, he just was the toughest. I remember Hearns was saying he had the hardest head of anybody he ever hit. Like he broke his hand in like the first round of that fight. It was a 3-rounder.
I saw you say that one of the greatest things that ever happened to you is that you went bald. You went bald for your acting career.
Oh, for acting, yeah. Because before that, when I had the red hair or whatever, they talk about all the stereotypes, in Hollywood, it's not just like with people that cut. Like I was in the redhead drawer, and there's just certain roles that you get. And I remember like, I'm old enough. We had like black and white headshots. So like in the 90s with the mousse and the hair, it kind of looked like brown hair. So a couple times in like some smaller projects, independent things, they would bring me in for the lead. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm finally getting to go in. I'm finally going to have like a big part. And I would come walking in like, prepare 3 scenes, right? And I would come walking in, and then they would see me. They'd be like, oh, okay, we're just going to do the first scene. And I knew what that was. It's like, you're not going to have, there was just this unwritten rule that if you were a redhead, you weren't going to be the lead. A redheaded male was not going to be the lead in a movie. So going bald and shaving my head, I started looking more of like the asshole that I am. So I got to play those kinds of guys. And, like this thing I'm in Glen Ross, this guy, David Moss, that I'm playing is, he sounds like all the guys that I grew up with. Like it was a different time, and people just yelled at each other, and they said horrible shit to each other, and there was like no apology, and you just kind of moved on. So
what made you want to do Broadway?
I was going to say, is this your first
like
time?
that's like you already do the hardest thing there is to do on stage. I think comedians are maniacs. For you as one person to go on stage,
I would say editing a movie is way difficult than
really.
Oh my God. If first of all, on your first movie, if you don't know what you're doing, if like, when you see experienced directors, they'll have a guy they like starting to edit the stuff as they go. So they almost have their first cut at the end. Your first time director, it's like you took 5 jigsaw puzzles and just threw it in the air and it's on the floor and you have to look at every piece and try to figure out how it went together. That's the hardest. As far as in show business thing that I did. And then before show business, any construction, landscaping, roofing was brutal. But stand-up is not hard. It's more humiliating in the beginning when you don't know what you're doing. But once you know what you're doing, it's one of the easiest jobs in entertainment because it's in real time. Where like a movie's an hour and a half and it takes like 3 months to shoot it, 16-hour days. An hour of stand-up takes an hour. So if you're funny, it's an easy job.
I guess you got to get to that point though. When you just first starting out and you getting on that stage and it's you versus 300, 500 people, man. My favorite thing is to watch people bomb.
Yeah.
He enjoys it.
I just like the thought process of watching people try to figure out how to get out of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, trying to learn how to bomb gracefully. Yeah, you learn how to do it, but the only way to do it, what I do like about stand-up is the only way to learn how to do it is to do it. You can't like rehearse.
That's right.
It's like you want to be a comedian, you literally write 5 minutes of material and then you go up and try and do it. That would be like being able to play a guitar for 5 minutes and then go play your first concert. Like, how would you do that? So it's inherently set up to be a train wreck for the first 3-4 years of your career, but whatever. But I mean, the job is beyond a blessing. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, but I wanted to have a fun job, and it's definitely the most fun you could have. I love doing it.
Well, why Broadway now though?
Cause I fell in love with acting and Broadway I never was into. I just thought it was all like Cats, Les Mis, and all of that. I didn't understand any of that. And but in the late '90s, 2000, I saw True West with John C. Reilly and rest his soul, Philip Seymour Hoffman. And it wasn't a musical, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, it was electrifying. I was like, this is amazing. I would love to do that. And I had started to take some acting classes, for about 5 years at that point. I just sort of, the way the business used to be was like stand-up led to acting, back when you got paid to be an actor, as opposed to now. I don't know what's going on. So, so I just started taking acting classes, and I don't know. I don't know how most of the stuff has happened in my career, and somehow I ended up on this thing, which is crazy. And we've done 3 preview shows, which is funny. They act like they don't count until the premiere, but it's like people paid, like these count. So, but it's a great cast of people, and everybody's been killing it. So it's been fun.
In the opening of your special, when you're walking on stage, you talk about how comedy is like kind of like your safe space or whatever because
I never said safe space.
It's my summation of it.
You're woke.
Yeah,
You are woke.
This is like
my
you are so woke.
safe space.
You are so woke.
I was surprised.
You guys.
What did you say? Because whatever it was, I was surprised to hear you say it because you said something about like you didn't know how much you wanted people to like you.
Oh yeah, I thought I did.
And I was confused. I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, I thought I did stand up because I liked comedy. That's what I thought, but I didn't. Through taking mushrooms and figuring myself out, I realized that the reason why I did comedy, aside from I liked making people laugh and that's how I connected with them, it was in this way to go on stage and make a room full of strangers like you so they wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah, and
that was kind of like,
That's so crazy. I just was surprised to hear you say that because this other stuff you say, I'm like, people are going to dislike you for that, but you still say it. So,
that probably has to do with, not getting love, and then when you get it, when you grow up, then you push it away or something, or not feeling worthy of it, low self-esteem. There's a lot of stuff in there. I got to take some more mushrooms to figure that part of it out. But
you do a lot of plant-based medicines?
No, I just, I don't know what I do. I've only done mushrooms like 3 or 4 times. And what I like about it, it's the only drug I've ever done that didn't make me want to do it again the next day. It made me want to like work on myself and try to be not such an asshole. And
Has it worked?
Yeah, it has. It's I'm not going to get into it, but confronted a lot of stuff that happened to me that made me become a comedian or have the need to do it. And then it made me understand my wife more and what it was like to be with me. Because, you know what I mean? If you grow up in a crazy environment, your idea of not crazy is just less crazy than the crazy you grew up with. But if you get with somebody that had a regular happy childhood, whatever that is, like you think you're being chill, and your chill is a raving lunatic to them. So, and then that becomes the most difficult thing, I think, as a human being is empathy. Get out of me and listen to you. What are you saying? And then, admitting you're wrong. Okay, you're right. That's hurting you. I'm acknowledging that, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the type of stuff I got out of taking mushrooms or
Would
whatever.
you try ayahuasca and any of that stuff that's a little further?
Yeah, I would in the right circumstances, but I would just do it with my friends. I don't trust these therapists that all of a sudden, out of nowhere understand it. And what's going to be the worst thing that's going to happen in mushrooms is it's going to become legal.
I think so.
Because look what happened to weed. I mean, what is it now?
They're already putting chocolate over the mushrooms.
Well, you look at those weed stores. It looks toxic. It just looks like a store of chemicals. It doesn't look. It used to just be in a little sandwich bag, and hopefully it was green. It was usually brown with seeds and stems and shit. But it was just it was weed. That's all it was, and it was just like, you could smoke a lot of it and get,
now they have edibles, they have cream. They have
I love edibles.
They have shit like, I would only take like 2 hits and see what happened. That happened to me.
Take like 2 hits, see what happens.
What you
That happened with me on Thanksgiving. We had some friends over, and I missed the red flag because I was like, having a good time. Like, I went to go give one of the women that came over, I went to go give her a gummy. She goes, nah, it's all right. I go, no, it's only 10 milligrams. And she's going like, I mean, if it's not 100, it's not going to do anything for me. And I should have clicked on that, and I didn't. And then like 20 minutes later, I was smoking a joint with her and her brother. And then like, I just was not at Thanksgiving. Dude, it was like for like 3 hours. You
still trust giving women drugs in 2025?
Oh, man.
I wouldn't even.
Well, I wasn't trying to bang her. There was a bunch of people there. We were gonna eat. Yeah, no, I just everybody was breaking out what they had. It was just like everybody. Where the hell did your mind go? We went to Thanksgiving dinner. You somehow wheeled in the casting couch.
I wanted to ask you something.
If you want the best cut of the turkey, there's ways that this can happen. Why don't you eat this? Can we just examine that? Like, you still trust giving a woman drugs? It was a fucking edible.
2025, man.
Jesus Christ.
We've heard too many stories. 5 years later, I was at Bill Burr's house, and he gave me some drugs. And it was just Wait a minute.
came over
It
for
was an edible.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, I can hear you try to explain it.
And they're gonna
I'm
use
just
this
telling you how
clip.
it would sound on Twitter or whatever's
Right.
going to be existing 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Is figuring yourself out good for entertainment? Meaning, like when you are a person.
100%.
Okay.
One of the biggest fucking myths
Okay.
as a comedian is if you get happy, you're not going to be funny anymore. It breathes all new life into you, and it also you can re-examine all of these topics that you've talked coming from a different perspective, being happy, and then also you can maybe do stand up for the crowd instead of yourself because now you're happy. It's like, hey, let me make them happy for an hour. Like it makes you more empathetic. You can relate to people, understand maybe like even if you haven't gone through what they've gone through, you understand that they're going through something. So if they do yell at you, rather than taking it personal, you can come at them, you know, from a different angle, which is my favorite thing to do, is to just not take it personally and try to figure out where it came from and get them to laugh about themselves, to realize that what they yelled at me had nothing to do with me. It had to do with what happened to them on Tuesday or I don't know, or when, I don't know, years ago or something like that. So
when you look at your old stuff, do you feel like you was just projecting? Like you was just projecting your anger or whatever it was?
I mean, I was a, I don't know, I don't watch my old stuff, but if I was to watch it, it wouldn't make me cringe or anything. I would just sort of look at it more like, you know, that's where I was. You know, a lot of the stuff that I said about women had really nothing to do with women. It had to do with the fact that I wanted to be married and wanted to have kids. I didn't know how to do it. I was too walled off. So that's like a really heavy thing to try to figure out in your 20s. So what you do is rather than, you know, I mean, whatever. I didn't have the maturity to do that. So what I did was I lashed out at what I wanted instead and blamed them because that's way easier than trying to figure out yourself maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would probably cringe at some of the shit that I said.
Because I've heard comedians say, like,
funny,
because, you know, I'm a big proponent of therapy, but I've heard a lot of comedians say, I'll never go to therapy because, you know, I need this trauma. Like, do you?
Yeah. Well,
What gets you here
that's
won't take
just
you
where
there.
they are. That's just where they are. I hope they get to the, because it's just like, all right, so you want to be upset your whole life? You get one life. I don't believe in reincarnation. You get one life. It's like you could be happy. You could make other people happy. You could help them out. You could do that. Or you could just go around, you know, taking out your childhood on other people, which is what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think about dying? Because you just said reincarnation.
yeah, but not in a bad way. I don't believe in an angry God, and I don't believe that he's going to judge me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you made me.
Yeah.
Did I fuck up? Well, that's your mistake.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I always equate it. If I built a car and it doesn't start up, I mean, I'm going to get mad at the engine.
Yeah, but if you tell them put this type of gas in it and somebody put something else in it and it fucks up, it's not the builder's fault.
What?
Never mind.
So if you got to take 93
No.
gas.
If you're building a car, you're telling somebody do it this way, and you decide to fuck the car up and put
So
oil in it
that's
and
the
put the
devil
wrong gas in
analogy.
it.
Is that the devil analogy?
No, I'm just talking.
Because like my thing is,
just talking.
you just went reverse Henry Hill. I'm just listening. I'm just talking. I'm just want to hear the sound of my voice. It's soothing to me. It's soothing to me to present ideas.
I do understand what you're saying, though, because I think about that often. That
I don't believe in that devil shit.
Yeah.
It's like, that's God's creation. You created that. Handle that.
And there's a lot of things here that cause us to make poor choices.
God
that
makes
God created.
sociopaths.
Yeah.
He makes horrible people. Also, but for some reason with religion, that's not God's responsibility. And then these horrible people do horrible shit to kids and stuff, and it messes them up, and then they got to go out in the world, and then they start, you know, being toxic or whatever. It's I don't I believe in God, but I don't necessarily believe in a loving God.
Explain that.
Well, then why would he make all these horrible people?
People will say
You
the
have
devil got a
issues with-
kingdom and it's the
what's
devil's work.
What's your religious background? Like, are you spiritual or are you like religious? The difference is like how you practice. So like, are you in church often? Or you just have your own faith journey with whoever you praise?
I don't do any of that.
Okay. can hear that.
I just try to be a good guy. and I don't know. I don't understand, like, even if you look at the animal world, okay? Like, he created all the animals too. the fact that like there's just animals out there that their whole purpose is to be food, to be eaten alive, like fucking rabbits. It's just like the patheticness of being a rabbit.
But that means God was thinking about us.
Huh?
That means God was thinking about us. Are his other creatures that need to eat?
Explain bears. Just like, why would you make something like that and they have an inability to kill something without starting to eat it first? Like, what I like about lions and tigers and shit is they have the decency to kill you before they start eating you. Whereas, like, a fucking bear just pounces on you and just starts like fucking ripping meat out of your back like Leonardo DiCaprio.
But that's only if you're in their environment. Like,
I know, but deer are. Why did deer have to go through that death? Why can't it just fucking kill the thing?
Because deer are those animals' food. Like when you ask me what to explain,
I understand that, but why do they have to have such an agonizing? If there's a loving God, why would he make something that's so fucking stupid? It has the ability to kill something. It just starts eating it.
You want a Bible answer for that, or you y'all just discussing?
You got a Bible answer for him?
Yeah, there is a conversation
I think God is just being creative.
So
if you can make a bear, why wouldn't you?
I think God is traumatized. And that's why the universe keeps expanding. He just keeps creating. There's something he's dealing with.
So you think God is a rabid dog that needs to get put down? Like
No.
A billionaire?
No, I don't think that. Jeez, that was you remember me of that fucking English guy? That awful head. The hell's his name? I can't remember his name. He's always saying shit like that. You're saying you don't like babies. Is that what you're saying? When we return, Charlamagne doesn't like babies.
Bill Burr's like, how'd I get here? Just want to talk about my special.
You keep going back to that one
my grandma gonna have a lot
joke.
to say
I made
when
the
she
joke
watch
that I
this.
made on the.
It was just a callback, Bill. It's not that deep. I was just talking.
Well, the first time.
We're just talking.
The first time. The first time is a callback.
No, this time
you
it's
get
like,
to
what's
3
happening?
and 4. That's an issue. You're making a point. What was I talking about? Oh,
Bears and God.
All right, I want to hear.
So-
I want to hear you. I'm open to this. So, in the
so
Bible,
the way that the story goes in the
and
Bible
Job
is
said,
that
"The beareth shall mauleth and start eating it,
no.
especially if the deer is gayeth."
You never had gay deer meat? It's sweet.
How's it taste? I hate this place.
All right, what is the?
You really want to know?
Yeah, no, it interests me. I don't have any answers.
Okay.
So I'll listen to any.
I was trying to look
goodness.
it up. So it's where it's at in the Bible. In Genesis, when the 6th day God created animals, they were supposed to be companions for Adam, and they don't talk specifically about bears, but it was supposed to be broadly about how man has this relationship with nature and like being able to like the dominion over nature and things that are in this world. That's what it was originated for.
We're not supposed to interact with it. We're supposed to dominate it. Is that what dominion means?
Because what happens is Adam began naming the animals and things of that nature. That's all I kind
This
of.
was before Eve?
I don't know if this.
All right,
was
I'm not
before
trying to be a wise ass.
Yes.
What did that have to do with bears?
Because you
Eating
asked me
deer
why
before
did
they
God
kill
create
them.
bears?
She's just talking.
You asked me why would God create bears if bears going to do those things, and I'm telling you where animals came into play in Genesis.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good.
Drop dead years out
Bill
there.
Burr his head. You know, I did want to ask you one thing about comedy before we go. My guy Andrew
See, the old me, I would have engaged in that. I would have been like, wait, you didn't answer my question. I just been like, all right. Look, she's still smiling. That's how it works.
Do you
Afterwards, I'll talk to you like, what the fuck is it?
We're all just talking, Bill.
Started talking Genesis. I don't go to church. I thought you meant the band.
Comedy, right? My
By
guy,
the way, Phil
yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Phil Collins, one of the greatest drummers of all time. For your listeners, get an album, Brand X, if you're a music head.
We know Phil Collins.
Huh? But yeah, you know Susudio. You don't know that shit. Brand X, get that album. Unbelievable. He's unbelievable on that album.
Why? Why'd you just shout him
Yeah,
out?
what made you-
What made you
What
think
did that
that?
have to do with
I know
it?
you
Because I
mentioned
like
Genesis.
playing drums, and there's people out there that just don't get the respect that they deserve, and you know, what happens is whatever business you're in, there's the public Mount Rushmore, and then there's the people that do it. Mount Rushmore, the real one. So whenever people bring up the greatest drummers, like his name doesn't get brought up enough. Because I was just having this
Bill, we wasn't
discussion.
talking about drummers. Where did it just come from?
Listen,
she
we
didn't
randomly
talk
talking
about
bears
bears
either.
either. Thank you.
Let 'em go.
Thank you.
We're just talking.
I was letting you get your drummer
Can you
on.
let
She
everybody
brought,
just
she
talk?
brought up Genesis.
Oh, the band.
that- that's what it is to me.
Everybody
Don't
just
go to
talk.
church
That's
and
what it
God
is.
is not a
Hey,
loving
hey,
God.
I'm
And then
just
boom,
talking.
Phil
I'm
Collins.
just talking, you know?
So Phil Collins is on your Mount Rushmore.
Yes, 100%.
Who else?
Mount Rushmore's only 4 people. I can't do that. So I would say my greatest of all time, Tony Williams. Close second, Elvin Jones. John Bonham. And then there's just 2. Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, Steve Jordan.
He's acting like he knows any of them. He knows
I've
none of
never
them.
heard of none of
Quest,
these
all
people.
of these guys. There's just too many.
What about Questlove?
I just said him.
Oh, you
Quest.
Oh, you got Questlove on your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, because it isn't just like playing drum solos and all of that. It's like I watched him.
Oh, you were
A
naming all
bunch of-
drummers just now.
I was
Yes.
naming the best.
Got
Yeah.
you,
So
got
like
you.
I saw Quest play at the SNL 50 Years of Music, and the amount of genres, and he just seamlessly. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot. Like I'm a rock drummer. You know what I mean? Or I'm this drummer. I'm that country drummer. Whatever the hell it is. There's very few people that can kind of speak all of those languages like fluently, and it's still happening. And they always talk about how the band is only as good as the drum. Like the drummer sucks, the band's gonna suck. So to watch him play with, I mean, I lost track that night, but he played with everybody from like I think. Well, Lil Wayne was the actual broadcast, but I think he played with him that night. Lil Wayne to Cher. It's like if he's sitting in the drum chair, like it's going to be a great gig, and it's just like his encyclopedia knowledge of music. And also, I got to tell you, that edit that he made should have won an award for his for the 50 years of SNL music, where like DJs, they blend one song into another. He blended like the actual video footage, like, and I was just sitting. I was talking to my buddy Mike, going like. This editor, we were just blown away by it, going, this is what happens when you get like a master musician DJ in an edit room with like film. I mean, he's just an incredible talent. So
He's
yeah,
one of the
I
best.
would have him on
He's
that.
definitely
And
one of the
drummers
best.
actually used to get laid a lot. Cause remember somebody always be like, get a
Well,
drummer
I never
some.
made it out of my parents' basement, so like, Yeah, and I was also I had orange hair. I was introverted. No, it was a barren wasteland for me for a while. So like comedy was the thing. Comedy was the first thing that I did that I felt like I didn't have to look to see what are other people doing. I mean, I had to learn from people, but I just felt like I was something that, this is something that I might have a talent for. With like drums, no matter how much I played, I would go to like a music store and I would see some 8-year-old and I could just see he had it. He was already expressing his ideas on the kit, and I was more doing drums rather than playing drums. So,
Well, I'm glad you found your gift, Bill. And the world is glad you found your gift.
Okay.
I'm glad.
I never know, dude. You got a poker face.
What you mean?
Because I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm.
No, he's serious.
I'm glad you found your
It
gift.
just was a roundabout way for us to
You
end
bring
here,
people
but
joy with your comedy. You make people laugh for a living, and you make people think.
Well, hey, I mean, if that's what happens, it does. All I'm trying to do is make you laugh for whatever, an hour. That's all I'm trying to do.
Word. Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
You said you had one more question. I was waiting for.
I
You forgot.
like the drummer
You
stuff.
said you want billionaires to be put down.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Who would
Bill
think
Burr.
that would be a controversial take?
Everybody?
I mean, put down. I like compassionate capitalism. If you're a piece of shit person, period, regardless of what your financial status is, we probably can do without you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, this is my impression of Bill Gates eating an apple
Go.
in his house. Oh, wait a minute. Is this one of mine?
Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen. Drop Dead Years out now on Hulu.
I mean, you know what I mean? He's not going to eat the food he's making us eat.
I get it.
Yeah. Wait. Is this the one I'm giving out to babies? Or is this for my own orchard?
Oh.
Is this a billionaire apple, or is this just for the common people?
Bill Burr, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.